In a world where technology is increasingly intertwined with our daily lives, it's important to consider the ethical implications of the devices we use. With Amazon's Alexa, we must consider how its algorithms and design impact our autonomy and ability to make decisions freely. Therefore, we decided to focus our final project on Amazon's virtual voice assistant, Alexa, and analyze relevant ethical issues with the technology. Before we dive into the specific ethical concerns raised by Amazon's Alexa, let's take a step back and consider what we know about this technology. By examining its features and capabilities, we can better understand the potential implications and ethical challenges it presents. So, to kick off the introduction, I'll first give an overview of the technology. Alexa is a virtual assistant developed by Amazon, which can be found in Amazon's Echo line of smart speakers and is integrated into many of their services, as well as other devices such as smartphones via the Alexa app, the Amazon Fire TV, smart thermostats, and soundbars, among many others. Alexa was developed to provide a hands-free, voice-controlled way for users to interact with technology and access information and services in a more convenient and intuitive way. To use Alexa, users simply need to wake up the assistant by saying the wake word Alexa, followed by a command or question. Alexa users Alexa uses natural language processing and machine learning algorithms to interpret the command or question and provide a response. The image on the right shows a few of the devices that are compatible with Alexa, such as the Echo Dot speaker, Nest thermostat, and Smart TV. I will now move on to introducing the ethical issues of Amazon's Alexa that we will explore and analyze. The first issue we will discuss focuses on the privacy implications of having an always on device that is capable of recording conversations in people's homes. There have been cases where Alexa has recorded and shared private conversations without the user's consent or knowledge. Additionally, there are concerns about how Amazon uses the data it collects through Alexa to target advertising and potentially violate people's privacy. Our second issue sheds light on Alexa being able to exhibit bias and discrimination. For example, Alexa may struggle to understand certain accents or dialects, which could disadvantage some users. There are also concerns that Alexa's recommendations and responses could be influenced by underlying biases in the data that it was trained on. The third issue brings awareness to how Alexa may be used to manipulate and control people. For example, Alexa could be used to push products or services on users or to influence their political beliefs or behaviors. Additionally, there are concerns about the power dynamic between Amazon and its users, with some critics arguing that Amazon's dominance in the voice assistant market gives it too much control over the people's lives and information. To get started with the three-step ethical analysis of the issues mentioned, let's return to privacy concerns. In the case of Amazon Alexa's privacy concern, impacted groups include Amazon, users of Alexa, and potentially anyone who may be affected by the data collected by Alexa. A trade-off for Alexa's users is they gain assistance and convenience with daily tasks while risking invasion of privacy and potential misuse of their data. On the other hand, a trade-off for Alexa developers and manufacturers includes receiving profit and recognition for innovation while neglecting privacy concerns. The hidden features with ethical implications at stake that may not have been accounted for in the design process of Alexa could include the potential for hacking, data breaches, and surveillance. There are guidelines, laws, and professional codes that can help, but they may not always be effective or up to date. Therefore, there is a policy vacuum as existing rules and policies do not fully address the ethical concerns surrounding Alexa's privacy. Finally, conceptual models involving the policy vacuum include the ambiguity of data ownership, the lack of transparency in data collection, and the potential for biased algorithms. Continuing the ethical analysis on privacy concerns, we'll apply the utilitarianism framework. Utilitarianism emphasizes maximizing the overall happiness or benefit known as the greatest good for the greatest number of people impacted. In the case of Alexa's privacy concerns, the utilitarian approach would prioritize the protection of personal privacy and the prevention of potential harm from data misuse, even if it means sacrificing some convenience or innovation. Additionally, eudaimonia may not be furthered if many users value the convenience and/or innovation that Alexa devices offer over their data being protected. In the case of Amazon Alexa, collecting data without consent can lead to negative consequences such as the misuse of personal information or violation of privacy rights, On the other hand, collecting data could lead to positive consequences such as improving the user experience and providing useful insights for companies to improve their products and services. Based on the consequences identified, a utilitarian approach would weigh the potential negative and positive consequences of collecting data through Amazon Alexa. If the potential negative consequences outweigh the potential positive consequences, then it may be deemed unethical to collect data without explicit consent from users. Alternatively, if the potential positive consequences outweigh the negative, then it may be deemed ethical to collect data, provided that measures are put in place to protect users' privacy. Therefore, it would be ethical to implement stricter regulations and guidelines regarding Alexa devices as long as the potential policies maximize the greatest good.
The next issue regarding Amazon's Alexa our group looked at was discrimination and bias. Specifically, the groups affected by Amazon's Alexa include non-native English speakers, women impacted by gender stereotypes, people with accents that are not American or British, and racially profiled groups. Language, with its inherent complexity, poses a major hurdle when it comes to creating algorithms that are bias-free towards everyone. We live in a world driven by technology where algorithms play an increasingly influential role. However, the intricate nature of language makes it difficult to develop bias-free algorithms that cater towards the diverse needs of individuals of various backgrounds. Some types of bias in this technology are also very subtle. This makes it hard to detect and even harder to solve. As Alexas optimize their speech recognition technology, it becomes less inclusive to all users. For Amazon's targeted group, Alexas keep improving while the technology stays stagnant for many other groups. In addition to the issues of discrimination and bias, there are also critical policy vacuums surrounding speech recognition technology as a whole. Currently, there is a lack of significant regulation in this field, leaving us with unanswered questions about how we can ensure the fairness of these technologies. The lack of transparency regarding the algorithms and data sources used by Amazon and Alexas is also concerning. This makes it challenging for the standard user to understand how bias and discrimination is being portrayed. Amazon also doesn't hold themselves accountable for their perpetual biases within their technology. In the realm of speech recognition technology, especially regarding Alexas, our core values should prioritize inclusivity and accessibility for all users, regardless of their background. We must ensure that these technologies cater to all language diversity and accents. Looking at the ethical framework of morality and justice, it is imperative that our society strives to maximize the benefits for its least advantaged members. Regrettably, Amazon's Alexa has shown an alarming impact on the underprivileged individuals, perpetuating a pattern of marginalization among people of color, women, and non-native English speakers. The inherent bias presented in Alexa's algorithms and design have resulted in unequal treatment and limited accessibility for these marginalized groups. These disparities directly contradict the principles of fairness and equal opportunity. According to the Morality and Justice Framework, it is clear that Amazon's Alexa is unethical.
The next issue I'll be discussing revolves around Amazon Alexa's use of manipulation and control to influence users into making decisions. The groups I identified that are most affected by manipulation and control are users of Amazon Alexa, due to their data being collected. Amazon is also affected by this issue because they could face loss of consumer trust and financial losses. Trade-offs identified are individuals and the potential for manipulation. There's a potential trade-off between individual self-determination and the potential for manipulation. On one hand, Alexa's recommendations could be used to help users make better choices and improve users' lives. On the other, these recommendations could be used to manipulate user choices and behaviors, and potentially lead to harm and social fragmentation. There's a trade-off between short-term user satisfaction and long-term societal implications. Providing personalized recommendations that satisfy user preferences may increase user satisfaction in the short term, but it may also have negative long-term implications for society, such as increasing polarization for limiting exposure to diverse perspectives. Another trade-off I identified is personalization and manipulation. Alexa's ability to personalize recommendations and respond to individual users is a key feature that makes it popular. Personalized recommendations can be seen as a way to empower users by providing them with information tailored to their preferences. However, there is a risk that this personalization could be used to manipulate users into making choices that are not in their best interests. Additionally, this can also be used to influence users by presenting them with biased or misleading information. The more control Alexa has over these recommendations presented to users, the greater risk of manipulation. One value I identified is providing users with more control over the recommendations provided by the voice assistant, while still allowing for personalized recommendations based on user data. Continuation of manipulation and control. Conceptual models. Are users making free and informed decisions when sharing their information with Amazon? While users may feel that they are in control of their devices and the information they share, the algorithms behind Alexa's recommendations may subtly influence their choices and behavior. Users may be unaware of how much Alexa shapes their behavior and decision-making through personalized recommendations and advertising. Currently no clear policy or regulation that requires Amazon to disclose how its algorithms work. This lack of transparency could make it difficult for users to understand how their data is being used and how their choices may be influenced. Without clear policies or regulations, it's unclear how Amazon is using and sharing users' data. This policy vacuum creates a potential for misuse or abuse of user data. It is not clear who owns the data collected by Alexa devices, and there are concerns that Amazon could use this data to influence user behavior or sell to third-party advertisers without user consent. Amazon and third-party developers are responsible for creating and manipulating Alexa's algorithms. It's unclear who's accountable for ensuring these algorithms are not manipulative. This confusion raises concerns about the potential for Alexa's algorithms to have unintended consequences on user behavior. To resolve conflicts and promote ethical development and use of Alexa's recommendation algorithms, it is necessary to establish clear ethical guidelines and regulations governing the use of personalized recommendations generated by voice assistants. This could involve establishing guidelines for what constitutes ethical manipulation, promoting transparency and user control, and addressing potential algorithmic biases. It also requires a public discussion and debate about the role of these technologies in society and the ethical responsibilities of companies like Amazon. Conclusion and recommendations. Amazon Alexa is a useful and innovative technology that has become increasingly prevalent in our society. However, there are several ethical concerns that have risen. Those concerns must be addressed in order to ensure that the benefits of this technology don't have any negative consequences. It is increasingly essential that Amazon takes a more ethical approach in the development and deployment of its technologies to avoid any negative impacts on society. Some recommendations would be to strengthen privacy protections. Amazon should take steps to ensure that user data is collected and used in an ethical and transparent manner. This could include providing users with more control over their data and implementing stronger data protection measures. Secondly, addressing discrimination and biases. Amazon should prioritize inclusive design and development practices to ensure that Alexa is accessible and unbiased for all users. This could involve diverse teams in the design and development process and implementing regular audits to identify and address any biases that may exist. Promoting user control. Amazon should be more transparent about how Alexa's algorithm works and how they influence user behavior. They could provide users with more control over personalized recommendations and advertising to ensure that Alexa does not make decisions on behalf of users without their explicit consent. Working with regulators and industry stakeholders to develop standards and policies for the responsible development and use of voice technology. This could include collaborating on the best practices for data privacy and inclusive design. By implementing these recommendations, Amazon can ensure that Alexa continues to be a valuable, innovative technology that benefits the users without compromising themselves.